We're at the rally for calling for Chief Smith's resignation.
If you are 4.5 times higher than the national average, that's the culture that you have of hanging and killing black bodies. That is the culture of this department. The culture of this department is formed by
Red Lemon and Chief Smith.
So until we get something to change the culture of the negative aspect of hanging, and we might not have had anybody hanging from a tree, but they changed that because now you hang them by bullets. So if we don't change the culture of hanging brown bodies by a gun, then we're going to continue to be at 4.5 times higher than the national average. And I know that they've already had the meeting. You know, after the large protests that were happening down in the plaza, they had a private meeting to where they could discuss personnel issues. That personnel issue was Chief Smith. And the 5 police commissioners that none of you voted in said, let's let him keep his job. Let's give him a chance. Was Donnie Sanders given a chance?
No.
Was Terrence Bridges given a chance?
No.
Does anybody know the story about what happened with Terrence Bridges? And I'm going to admit that domestic violence happens a lot here within the city. That's a mental health issue. After he had had his altercation with his girlfriend, he left to go cool down. He left to keep it from being a volatile situation. But she did call the police. When the police arrived, he was not there. The police were up on the patio talking to the girlfriend. She pointed him out. He started walking away without even being given a chance, and this is all caught on their cameras. This is all caught on their police cams that they have. Terrence Bridges was shot down in the street with not an effort of trying to de-escalate the situation. I have officers who I have the phone numbers of. I've called to question them since we started with all this outbreak of protest in the city. What is your training model in regards to training the officers for a continuous education?
Shoot to kill.
24 hours a year. And that's not just with the de-escalation training. That includes their shooting training. So if you're not giving enough effort to think that the mental health of these officers on these streets, because I will give you that in Kansas City with the homicide rate that we have, I would think any officer would need some counseling from seeing that much violence. But if we can't stop the perpetuator of the violence of the police, 2 brown victims, then it's going to be hard for us to change the culture within our minds to value ourselves even. So it has to start somewhere, and we hear trickle down on everything else. We hear trickle down on economics. We hear trickle down on housing. We hear trickle down on everything. Right now we're still in the midst of protesting based on the redlining. I myself actually met with the police commissioner that we really need to change her heart. Right now we know that Kathy Dean, there's my announcement. Kathy Dean is our swing vote. Kathy Dean is who we need. There's already 2 commissioners that feel that they know he is not right for Kansas City. But until we change the culture, we cannot change the trend. Until we change the culture of oppression, we cannot be free. So we will continue as black people to be scared just because a police officer pulls up behind us, because we know that they're still under the leadership of